All right, it's District Breakdown time. There's my man Jon Poorman from the Houston Chronicle, and we are talking 10-5A Division II. This is compared to districts we've had, this is a shorty district. It's a 7-team deal with some teams on the outskirts, but talk about what you think might happen out of this district, especially out of the Montgomery teams.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting because Montgomery is coming off a historic season. They were 11-1 last year, really great year under Coach Jon Poorman. But the catch is coming into the 2022 season, this is going to be a very different looking team. Poorman retired after, several decades of being a head football coach, and he obviously did a great job with that program over the years in Montgomery. But they're also going to have a new starting quarterback, Brock Poorman. The senior starter has moved on now. He graduated, and running back Jalen Washington, who rushed for over 2,000 yards last season, is now gone as well due to graduation. So, and in addition to that, they have, several really good players on the defensive side of the ball that also graduated. So a strong senior class for the Bears led them to a great 11-1 season and a playoff victory. And but it's going to be kind of a reloading year. It'll be really interesting to see where they get their next head coach from, whether that's an internal hire or they kind of go outside of that. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of come back this year after the success that they had and kind of turn the page.
They had that natural rivalry there with Lake Creek. Do you think this year Lake Creek may be able to slip up or slip past them a little bit?
Yeah, the Motown Showdown. A rivalry still kind of in its infancy, but it's a good one out there. These kids all grow up with each other and know each other well. So I mean, Lake Creek, they have a quarterback coming back, Kate Tessier, who is 6'4", 205. He's got a really strong arm. I think that he could ultimately be the difference for the Lions there under Coach Pat Kennedy. He's done a really great job coming over from the Woodlands and starting that program up. And, they've had, some decent success there. And I think that this year, with a quarterback like they have, it could be the year that they kind of, make a move here. We'll see. In this district, I would for sure expect them to be a playoff team. That's kind of where I think that they're for sure going to be in the playoffs. It's just a matter of, can they rise to the top of the standings? And, you have a perennial power like Huntsville in there in the mix as well. So, those three teams are kind of, I think, going to be in the mix for the top spot. But, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, this is one of those districts you want to make the playoffs, but you don't want to finish fourth because then you're inviting a trip to Fort Bend Marshall, which you probably don't want this year. But they're also inviting a brand new team into this district with Richmond Randall. Talk about the trials and tribulations that Coach Brian Randall is going to have to go through to start up a program here and get them competitive.
Yeah, I mean, a pretty cool opportunity for Brian Randall. I've met him on a couple occasions just covering games when he was at Maid Creek, and really great guy, really good football coach. What a cool opportunity for him to lead this football program at the school named after his father. I mean, just you can't write it up any better than that. So, I'm sure when they were flipping through the applicants for that job, it was kind of an obvious choice and a really great fit there. I would expect, them to be competitive. I mean, they're going to have a young team, I would think. But, it's really hard, especially in football, coming in when you have a young roster like that at a new school to be competitive. But, as you mentioned, this district is only 7 teams, so there's going to be more teams in the playoffs than not. And, who knows, I could see them competing, for one of those spots for sure. Just a matter of kind of bringing those young guys along, and especially early on in the season when they're playing some non-district games and kind of putting them through the fire a little bit and getting them acclimated to the varsity level and, kind of the expectations that they've set for that program. But, I think that they're set up for success moving forward, and, we'll see how this first year goes.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting dealing with the 10th and 9th graders only. So trying to get them to learn a new culture that he's trying to develop there, and it should be some growing pains, but we'll see how they like you said, they only have to pass up 2 teams or 3 teams to get into the playoffs, and they're in there. And then they got Marshall. So anyway, we appreciate you joining us, John. We're going to go into 6A after this. We're already in the 6A. We got 12 6A districts to go through, and we'll start with 13 6A next week. So I appreciate you joining us, John.
Yeah, 13 6A, a district I know well from Montgomery County, so excited to talk about that one for sure.
That's right. That'll be a good one. All right, I'll talk to you next week.